All right, I'm back with another story time, yeah? And I feel like we're gonna have to make a separate segment for these kind of stories, yeah? We might have to call them crazy Caribbean stories, yeah? Ominous overseas stories, yeah? Brutality on the beach, or whatever I can come up with, yeah? Okay, this is a story of how my neighbor killed their own sibling, yeah? Now, as I think I've previously explained, or if I haven't told you before, when I was a kid, there was a period where I was sent to live with my aunt in the West Indies, yeah? So I used to live with her. And even when I came back to England, there was another period where I stayed with her again. Not for a long time, but just for a little holiday, yeah? And during that time, obviously as a real kid, and when I say a real kid, I mean primary school ages, I didn't really remember these lot too much. But when I saw them again about 13, 14, they stuck in my memory, yeah? So I did actually start to remember them. Now, next to my aunt was a family, yeah? And this family consisted of two brothers and one sister. So the older brother, the younger brother, and the youngest sister, yeah? So they were much older, yeah? Very middle-aged. I'd give them about 40s from what I can remember, yeah? 40s, yeah? And cool. Anyways, you could tell the difference between the three siblings, yeah? So the eldest brother was like a very proud, kind of, I wouldn't call him arrogant, you know, he was very confident, but in a quiet sense. He wasn't a loudmouth, but in his mannerisms and the way he carried himself and the way he walked, you could tell he thought, like, I'm the shit kind of thing, yeah? He had that about him. Always wearing shirts, always wearing suits, driving a Jeep, jewelry, clean cut man, yeah? He had the slim, pretty trophy wife and the kids that were doing excellent in school. So he was that guy, yeah? He was the golden boy for the family. He had the second brother, nothing like his older brother. The two brothers were like night and day, heaven and earth, two completely different people, yeah? So the younger brother now, he works manual labor. Every time you see him, his pants are dirty. They've got cement and paint stains, yeah? Cement all over them or paint stains. Big Gideon boots, all filled with dust. Dust all over them, yeah? His hands are all dusty, his hair's messy. You see when people, especially women, call a man a dusty, he was a dusty, literally and figuratively, yeah? His wife was not as pretty as the older brother's wife, and his life was not as pretty as the older brother's life either, yeah? Like I said, the two brothers were like heaven and earth, okay? Then you had the youngest sister, very timid woman, she barely spoke, she always kept to herself, yeah? Always. So anyways, they had a father, and the father's getting sick, and he's about to die, yeah? Or he's in the process of dying. And when I say the process of dying, it doesn't look like he's getting better anytime soon, okay? But the father had two houses. So the one next door to us was a family home, yeah? And then he had a second house on the hill, surrounded by lots of farmland, lots and lots of land, yeah? And a big house. But that was his original family house, okay? But he was like renting it out and stuff, and nobody was living there and all of that, yeah? So as the father's coming up to die, the big talk in the town is who's going to inherit the big house with all the land, yeah? And naturally, because the eldest brother was the golden child, yeah, the apple in his father's eye, all fingers were pointing to the eldest son, yeah? Now, you see in life, yeah, I believe if you have a wife, yes, you should listen to her. Yes, you should take in everything she's saying. And yes, you should be considerate, respect, and to rate her thoughts, yeah? Or her input and her opinion. However, Sometimes I don't think it's a good idea when your wife has your ear completely. And when I say when she has your ear completely, I mean she can influence your decisions like that. There's no form of level-headedness, yeah? And that's the problem with what the second brother was going through. His wife was driving him crazy in his ears. Yeah, look, it's just like when you were kids. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't care about you. Look how he's treating you again. Look how we're living. Look what job you're doing. You should be the one with the house. You should be the one with the land. We should be planting on that land. We should have goats. We should be doing this for our kids. We should be living in that house. Yeah? Whenever something was broken, when the house needed building up, who was it that did it? Who did the building work? Who did the construction? It was you. That's what she kept saying in his ear. Yeah? Driving the man mad. But they're two brothers. So the brothers were fine at the start of it. The youngest sister, she stayed out of it. Like I said, she was a timid woman. She was the kind of woman she'll just take what she's given. She doesn't want no problems. Yeah? Now, the eldest brother, he don't care. Because as far as he's concerned, he's won. Everything that he wants is coming to him in his hands like this. Yeah? And that's the talk. So in the upcoming months, the dad is getting worse. He's getting sicker. Yeah? Now, what was once private disrespect became public disrespect. So anytime the second brother was in the bar, the wife would be snapping on him in front of everyone, talking to him any kind of way, treating him any kind of way. You're not a real man. You're not a real man. You're going to let your brother take everything away from you. You're going to let your brother do this. Your brother's a real man. Look what he achieved. Look what he's, look what he achieved. Look how successful he is. Just rinsing the man in front of everyone. Yeah? And that's the worst thing. When your own spouse is embarrassing you in public, the man can't drink nowhere. Any bar he goes into, they're laughing at him behind his back. That's how they're treating him, yeah? When he takes the beer and he brings it to his lips, his hands is shaking. He's under pressure and the respect is dwindling. You could even see his own kids looked at him a certain way. Anytime you try to tell them something, don't stay out late. The man had no respect in his house, yeah? You see when a football coach or a football manager loses the dressing room, he lost the dressing room. A very important dressing room. His household. Yeah? Cool. So now, the dad is still with us, yeah? The dad is still amongst the land of the living. So there's no problem there. Here comes the main problem now, like I said. Now remember, when they're kids, yeah, the older brother has always been lit. He's always been the guy, the one that was good at sports, the one that got all the girls, the one like this. So one day the older brother pulls up to the bar in his big Jeep, shiny clothes as always, jewelry, clean car. He's the man, right? Walking and strutting into the bar like this. So the younger brother had a conversation with him. He tried to reason with his brother, yeah? So he said to him, listen, whichever way it goes, whether you get the house and the land or I get the house and the land, let's split it down the middle. Or let's split it 3 ways. You, me, and the sister, because his only 3 children, yeah? The man didn't have no kids with no other woman, nothing. All his kids were for his wife, yeah? And then the older brother disagreed. The older brother said, listen, it's dad's wishes. Whatever dad puts in that will, I'm going to respect that. So if I inherit everything, I'm not splitting nothing. In that moment, he doesn't realize he made a very grave mistake. Yeah? And this is why I say in life, never underestimate people and don't test a person's temperature. Okay? Because as kids, the older brother was always the one winning the fights. Like I said, he's the guy. So as far as he's concerned, his little brother is a nobody to him. Yeah? And here's where the problem starts. So now the little brother starts to scream and shout in the road, right? What are you talking about? You're being selfish. Da, 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 da. So now the 2 brothers are fighting. But when they come to stop it, someone must have screamed, let the 2 brothers fight. Don't get involved. It's between the brothers. Yeah? So they're tussling, they're fighting, whatever. This is on the main road, you know. outside the bar. Yeah. Now, like I explained before, the older brother was the one always winning the fights. He was always the man. Yeah. So he easily overpowered and beat up his younger brother. Normal day in the office for him, yeah? Younger brother crashes to the ground with one, boom, crashes to the ground. So as he's on the ground holding his face now, the older brother turns around to get back in his car. He's about to get back in his car. And in a fit of rage, yeah, and this is why I always say emotions are dangerous. Anger and rage is dangerous if you do not know how to control it. Now you see, if you go to like any Caribbean country, yeah, there's a lot of big stones and big rocks on the side, just there. Usually in fist fights, people will use them as weapons to just pick up stones and throw it at people, yeah. So you guys will know who I'm talking about, anybody that's visited or lived in a Caribbean country, yeah. And the younger brother picks up a stone, he gets up, from behind, he bashed in his brother's head with the rock. Pap, right at the back of his head. Psh, blood was everywhere, yeah? And he didn't stop with one bash. He came with a second one and a third one, yeah? Now people are screaming because the back of the guy's head is open. You know what I mean? Big rock, blood all over it, blood all over the brother's clothes, whatever. People are screaming. Now remember, I'm a kid these times, yeah? When I say I'm a kid, I would have been about 13. So I would have been about 13 years old that holiday. I remember it like it was yesterday, 13, yeah? So I was in my aunt's house just watching anime at the time, yeah? Dragon Ball Z, Avatar, you know, just watching my cartoons, living my life, and all I can hear is screaming and commotion on the road. So naturally, when you hear these things, you run out on the road so you can see what's going on, yeah? So you run out on the road, there's one big commotion, everybody's crowding what's going on, yeah? Like I said, people screaming, it's one big palaver, yeah? One big ruckus, yeah? So anyway, shortly afterwards, the man was there and he fell to his knees, the younger brother, yeah? And he fell to his knees crying. And when I say crying, as in the man was bawling, yeah? Those tears probably was like hot pepper on his face, eyes red, salt, crying, looking to the heavens. The other man looked to the heavens and screamed, I can't believe what I've done. What did I do? And this is why I say anger is a very powerful emotion, because he did something in a fit of rage, and now he is looking up to heaven and crying and saying, what the hell did I do? Do you understand? This is what I always say, to control your emotions. Rock in hand, that's the only thing the man's screaming, yeah? Over his brother's body. So the police have come and they've arrested him, yeah? They've arrested him, obviously he's been sentenced, he went to jail for life, yeah? The moral of this story is greed. Greed, jealousy, envy, and sometimes allowing outside influences to mix in the pot. You see, when you've got your house and it's a good house, you don't let somebody come into your house and start to dictate. Now, fair enough, your wife might not be a stranger. Sorry about that. Your wife might not be a stranger, yeah? But she's still somewhat of an outsider. Remember, it's between the two brothers. Yeah? You go in, you tell the man all these things in his ear. You made the man feel this small, yeah, about himself, about his situation. And he probably always had this insecurity about his older brother being better than him. And you played that up out of greed, because he wanted a house and wanted land. As to the brother, he allowed himself to be controlled and manipulated, yeah, because he wanted to prove himself, or he had insecurities. Do you understand? And the saddest thing is, for how big that land was and how big the house was, if they split it 3 ways, they would have been rich, all 3 of them. And if not rich, they would have been very well off. They would have been fine either way. One man's arrogance, one man's insecurities, and one woman's greed led from brother to kill brother. Led to brother to kill brother. Imagine that. 13. Never forget. That's why I say crazy Caribbean stories. The things that happen over there, yeah? The things people do to people. The man got life in jail. Bashed his brother's head in with a rock. Yeah? Do you know the craziest thing? He came out a year or two later. And it's not even been 20 something years. I mean, he came out a year or two ago. My bad. A year or two ago. Not later. And it hasn't even been 20 something years since he did that. Imagine that. You murder your brother in cold blood. You murder him over something like land and a house. And then you get out and you don't even serve 20 years. As I say, sometimes in life, the justice system, this life is just a joke. Do you know what I mean? And that's why sometimes as well, when I see stuff like that, or when I did see stuff like that, or when I know stuff like that, it makes me very paranoid about who I let know that good things are coming my way. Because I don't want no one to bash my head in with a rock, brother or no brother. That's insanity. Oh, man. Murdered his own brother over house and land. My God. And now that guy's walking free. God knows what happened to him. Apparently he moved away from the town. He went somewhere else. That's what the local gossip is. But imagine that. No justice for the brother, and that day a father lost his eldest son. Yeah? Because his youngest son was stupid enough to marry a Lady Macbeth. And there are two types of Lady Macbeths. The ones that will push you to greatness and the ones that will push you to destruction. You choose which one's the right one for you. But I know the youngest brother chose the wrong one. Do you understand? Like I always say, make civilian life great again. Check all the links in my bio. Check all my social media. Like, comment and subscribe. And I'll be coming with some more amazing stories, yeah? Stay tuned.